Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the Parebel LU-MDF Woods Green Pro Contest Boxing Gloves. So check it out. Hey guys, Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Parebel LU-MDF Woods Green Pro Contest Boxing Gloves. It comes in this one colorway with the green and black. One size and 10 ounces since it is a pro contest boxing glove, and it is a lace-up closure only model. It's made of full synthetic microfiber leather construction with what they describe as Japanese foam, which is basically 3 layers of foam padding over the knuckle area that has different densities and consistencies to it. So you're looking at a soft and a medium firm foam density with a combination of the 3, which gives you a medium feel to it. So this is one of those gloves, if you're to use this for training or even in a fight, it's definitely more protective and shock absorbent for your hand, but it's not overly stiff to where you feel uncomfortable or you don't get any feedback from the target that you're striking. Parebel is actually an Australian brand, and they have another LU-MDF training glove in a yellow and black colorway, what they call Bumblebee, which comes in 14 ounces, as well as several other models that you can use for a sanctioned bout. But I decided to get mine in this woods green colorway, which you can see it's a really nice, sharp looking glove. From a design standpoint, I'd say that the profile for a 10-ounce glove is right on point. It's not overly compact. It's not overly large as well. So if you have another pair of 10-ounce gloves, I said that these are pretty comparable to that in terms of sizing. You do have that synthetic microfiber, which is very similar to some of the other synthetics that you see from companies like Rival. It's the higher end synthetic. It's not the cheap stuff that you would find from the, big box store places like Dick's Sporting Goods with the Everlast they sell, where it feels really thin and tacky. This is definitely much more durable and thicker. You have kind of I'd say a semi-gloss, almost satin finish with the synthetic, with the Parebel written vertically down on the edge of the glove. Coming down to the back of the wrist, it does say 10 ounces. You have, I'd say, about maybe ½ an inch of medium density foam padding on the back of the wrist. On the inside of the wrist, you have a much more firm padding, which I'd say it's about, again, ½ an inch on the inside of the wrist that comes up to there and comes up to right about here on the palm side of the glove. It says handmade of 100% genuine leather, which I think is a misprint because these are definitely not a genuine leather glove. These are synthetic leather, so do keep that in mind. It is a handmade product, which I think, the vast majority of gloves, I guess you can categorize as handmade, because it's literally a person putting the gloves together using a sewing machine and stuffing the foam on the inside. So, handmade is something that I guess people use quite often as kind of a way to make something sound more premium, but in the reality of it, I think the vast majority of these gloves are handmade. You do have a leather attached thumb, and you can see the thumb kind of has a nice little roll to it that protects the opponent from getting thumbed in the eye, and you can see that it kind of rolls. And I'll describe how that feels here in a second. Ventilated holes on the thumb as well as around the grip bar, with kind of a smaller, softer grip bar. Would have been nice to have something a little bit bigger in that regard. Same kind of sheen and shine with the black synthetic leather, and the inside liner is going to be a smooth, silky polyester nylon liner on the inside of the glove. Quality-wise, the gloves are pretty solid for a synthetic glove. I'd say the only area is going to be just a little piece of stitching I found on this. The right glove didn't have any flaws in that regard when it comes to stitching. The glove, I'd say, is pretty well balanced. You can grab the very bottom of the cuff of the glove of the wrist support, and you can see it doesn't have any sag to it, so the distribution of weight is done very nicely. I'd say that the glove is slightly overweight. Now, one thing that they mentioned, and I still need to get a little bit of clarity on this, is if the laces are included with the actual glove weight. So they mentioned that on the website, where it says it's exactly 10 ounces without the laces on. When I measured these gloves, I had the laces on. I guess you can count that as like an ounce. They came in at like 10.9 and like 11 ounces. So if the laces are about an ounce in weight, then yeah, these would pretty much be about 10 ounces exactly without laces. Now again, I'm not sure if, you know, a pro sanctioning body that's going to, you know, certify these gloves for legal use in a fight considers it with the laces or without. But I decided to mention that I did measure them with the laces in, and the laces are about an ounce. So you're looking almost right about 10 ounces with these gloves in terms of weight. The foam has stayed consistent real well. No issues with the actual microfiber on here. There's no metallics. You know, the gloves are a little bit dirty from me using them on the bag, but overall quality on these are very, very nice. Comfort sliding your hand into the glove. You know, when you slide your hand into the glove, the first thing you feel sensation wise is going to be the liner before you even get into the hand compartment. And the liner is really nice, silk, and very silky and smoothie. It kind of reminds me of the liner that Torres Medina uses in their Mexican made gloves. It has a much more silkier, smoother feel. It doesn't feel like a thin, like polyester or nylon, where it feels really thin on some of the other Pakistan made gloves. These feel definitely more silkier and thick. The thumb position, I'd say, is pretty good. It's not perfect. I would say that because of that slight curvature, I do feel like if you do have a longer thumb, you might jam on the tip on the inside. So it would have been nice if this thumb maybe was extended out just maybe a quarter of an inch and kind of pulled in a little bit more. I also noticed that this piping right here gets pretty tight with hand wraps on as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a break-in period, and you can just see how much it kind of clamps down on the fat part of the bottom part of your thumb right there. So that does feel a little bit uncomfortable and tight when you're using that, especially for my left hand. For whatever reason, my left thumb is a little bit fatter than my right. And I definitely feel it. My right, I don't feel it at all, but my left, I definitely do. The finger compartment, you can see, is really nice and deep. Good width, not too narrow, not too wide. You also have kind of a half-assed secondary grip bar on the inside right here where it covers the stitching. You could tell that whoever the individual was that was physically putting this glove together, it almost feels like they attempted to make a secondary piece of neoprene over the stitching, but they didn't finish. It's almost like they went halfway through and then kind of stopped. Because the pinky part of my finger and a part of my ring finger, I can feel that neoprene, and then once I get to my middle and my index finger, it just feels stitching there. So it feels like it's a little incomplete in that regard. The glove, I'd say, is medium when it comes to the break-in period. It's not a super soft glove and it's not ultra stiff. It's kind of right in the middle, and it's going to take time for you to really loosen up that padding on the inside. But overall, a pretty solid glove. Liner's nice. Thumb positioning could be better, as well as this area, and then just that little grip bar section that feels kind of incomplete could be improved. Protection and performance, a very well balanced glove. One thing I like about this glove a lot is the way your hand is put into a really nice tight position to make a fist. Probably one of the best qualities of this glove is that your hand is already positioned very much kind of like the Venom hammers, where if you ever had a pair of the hammers, you'll know right when you put your hand in, I mean, your hand is already pretty much locked and loaded. So when you throw your punch and you land, there's relatively zero effort for you to have to make a nice tight fist. And you kind of get that same sensation with this glove, where it's already pre-positioned really nicely. You're going to land on those two front knuckles, and you have a relatively nice flat punch surface because of the density of the foams on the inside of the glove. So that's, to me, the best feature. I feel like when I was throwing my jabs, my hooks, uppercuts, all of my punches, really, I felt like a nice precision-like feel because of that. You feel like you're always landing in the right spot, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to land your punches the way you want them to. So I definitely like that. That's probably the best feature of this glove. Cost-wise, I believe these gloves are at 124 US dollars currently. And I think it's a decent price. I definitely think, to me, this is more of like a $100 glove. And the reason I say that is because, and hopefully they change it in the future, but the glove is pretty limited to the selection that you can get. Like they only offer this in 10 ounces for this colorway. There's only this black and green colorway for this particular model, the LU-MDF model. They also have the LU-MDF in the black, or in the yellow and black, which is the Bumblebee colorway. But on their website, they only offer that in 14 ounces. So you essentially only have two colors and two sizes, a 10 for the black and green, or a $14 for the yellow and black. So it would be nice if they offered, you know, more versions and a Velcro closure for this, more colorways, more sizes. And that to me would be a big game changer in regards to this glove. But to me, this is about a $100 glove, slightly overpriced. Pros and cons of the gloves, I would say pros is going to be the design. I think it looks really sharp. It's not an overly done glove. You don't have logos splashed all over the glove. And the construction of the glove is really solid, minus the little bit of thread on the bottom right there, you know, removing the laces. If we're going based off of the measurement that they did, the way the glove without laces, then they're pretty much on point with weight being at 10 ounces. You know, one thing is going to be the padding is probably the biggest pro of this glove. Cons, I would say, is going to be some of the comfort features. The thumb being a little awkward and being kind of tight on this portion of my finger. And then the inside finger compartment where it feels like they kind of stitched only halfway through. And you don't get much of a secondary grip bar on this portion, but you do on your pinky and your ring finger portion right there. To me, those are gonna be the biggest cons, aside from what I just mentioned earlier. Color availability, weight availability, and a different type of closure. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put a link in the description box where you can find these Parebel LU-MDF Woods Green Pro Competition boxing gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.